Today, we are going to be looking at the new OpenClaw update. So you can see there was a brand new update from OpenClaw yesterday, and they've announced 4 new things. Number 1 is Feishu and Lark. So this is the first Chinese chat agent that you can actually use with OpenClaw. Number 2, it's faster, so we can actually build itself faster. There's more security hardening, and also a QMD memory plugin. So you can see the full list of updates and change logs right here. This is a free new update, updated via OpenClaw. It was literally released 3 hours ago, so it is brand new. We got Wilty says, greetings, Julian, good to see you here. And Jason, he says, we testing Qwen. We will be doing that later today as well. Sylvia says, insane, as always. All right, so let's talk about what this actually means. What are the updates, etc. So the new features, number 1, Feishu and Lark plugin. So it's added integration with Feishu, Chinese workplace communication platform, also known as Lark internationally. You've also got the agent's dashboard now. So this is a new web UI for managing agent files, tools, skills, AI models, communication channels, and scheduled tasks. You got QMD for backend memory. Basically, this is an optional new memory system for workspace context, which basically helps the AI remember information across conversations. And then also we have the health check skill. So this is a new security monitoring tool to audit the OpenClaw setup. We have default sub-agent thinking level, so you can now configure how much internal reasoning sub-agents do, and you've got documentation improvements as well. So for example, like Chinese translations, better guides, navigation updates, etc. Right? So you can see some of the security updates right here that have been added to OpenClaw. Some of the main ones that you probably want to look at is the agent's dashboard. That sounds quite interesting. You've got sub-agent, and some people, I guess, watching this may be watching from China or use Feishu, etc. So we're going to be testing it out and seeing how it performs. All right, so the way that I'm going to get started with this is I'm just because I know how temperamental Molebot is. I'm actually going to uninstall it first, and then we'll reinstall it using the new update. So let's get started with this. We've actually got uninstall instructions inside the AI Profit Boarding, link in the comments description. And then if you go to the classroom, and then from there, you can go to the SOP updates. And then from there, you can get all the latest documentation. So I'm just going to remove this, as you can see. All right, so that's fully removed. And then we're going to set this up again. So if we go to OpenClaw right here, open this up. And we're going to start opening this up, right? So we're just going to clone it again and then get started from there. By the way, if you're wondering, like, okay, is there a more secure way to set this up? What you can actually do is you can use something like Molt Worker. I've got lots of training inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So we're going to start running this now. We have to run through the quick start. I'm going to go with OpenAI Codex OAuth login. And if you have any questions whilst you're watching live, feel free to ask. One interesting thing that I've actually stopped doing now is I've stopped using it with Telegram because it just seems to break all the time. Whereas if I just use the native UI, it seems to be a bit more reliable. Although, honestly, this stuff breaks pretty easily. And obviously, it is a free open source AI agent, so I get it. And there we go. So I said, hey, and then you can see it's replying right here. So it says, let's lock in the basics, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I've uninstalled it and removed the previous install. So that's why it doesn't have any memory. And you can see that we've got the full update right here. And then you can configure it with, for example, Telegram. You've got the channel section here. You've got the instances. We have the sessions and everything else. So that is all set up right now. One thing that I will do for you is I'm going to take this like so. And we'll go from there. All right. And now we've got OpenClaw control set up, as you can see. If you do uninstall it, one thing to do before you uninstall is you can actually export the memory MD file from the previous installation and then install it on the new one. There are simpler ways to update, but just because I'm doing this on a live stream, I need it to work like right now. And I can't mess around for 30 minutes messing around with this on a live stream. So I just uninstall it and then reinstall the new version instead to make it easier. What we got here. So does OpenClaw perform the same way that the newly released Codex by OpenAI, or do they have different use cases? They have different use cases, actually, to be fair. So when you're using something like, for example, OpenClaw, this is basically like a 24/7 personal assistant, right? Whereas if you use something like Codex OS, which is a new update from ChatGPT and OpenAI, this is more like an IDE or a codex that runs locally. Now, this is specifically for building stuff, right? So, for example, coding apps, games, websites. Whereas if you're using something like OpenClaw, this is more like a personal assistant that can automate tasks for you. Also, Codex is not running 24/7, whereas, for example, OpenClaw is. The other thing that I want to test here is we are going to try something now. And open up terminal. I'm going to try and install SkillBoss. If you don't know what SkillBoss is, essentially what this is a website where you can install skills. For example, I've installed this to Claude Code, and you can basically create images, videos, podcasts, etc. from one single skill. So we're going to test this out now directly with OpenClaw. And it says open the OpenClaw chat window, drag the zip into the chat, which we'll do now. So we've got the chat here. We'll grab the zip file. Here's the zip file. Let's drag that in. Wilty says, thanks, Julian. Always happy to help. Drax says, what system mini requirements would you recommend to begin using this? I know Mac minis are being used, but what configuration can you recommend? Any old laptop is fine. You don't need like a... Bear in mind, like you can just set this up on an old device. Once you've got it running in your terminal, then it's running in the cloud. You don't need to get a Mac mini or anything like that, right? I know a lot of people who have got a Mac mini, but you don't need it, right? What else we got here? Meridia says, OpenClaw setup is confusing. It can be sometimes, but you've seen how quick and easy I managed to set up today. So it says done, SkillBoss is installed into the OpenClaw skills directory. Let's test it out now. So I'm going to say, okay, create an image using Skill Boss. Let's see if that works. How do I know the real Julian Goldie hasn't been replaced by a Clawbot doppelganger? It could happen in the future. Never know. And it says, sure, I can generate it with Skill Boss, but I need the prompt. So I'm going to say, okay, create a picture of a cat at a picnic. By the way, if you're watching this and you're wondering, okay, like how do I set up Moltbot or Clawbot or OpenClaw, which are all the same thing? How do I set them up in a way that's more secure? The most secure way that I've seen set up is with Molt Worker. It runs via Cloudflare, which protects half the internet. It also runs siloed away, and you have to approve any logins before people go in. And also, it has to get an email verification code before it can log in as well, right? So you approve any logins, and it's siloed away before people can log in here. We have a full video tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. And then inside the SOP update section here, you can see that we've got a full guide plus video tutorial on how to set that up, right? Now, if you want the details on the new update today from OpenClaw, I'll also add that inside here too. So you can see that right here. And there you go. Right, so let's go back to OpenClaw now. Now you can see we've installed Skillboss, which can deploy static sites, send emails, and can do chat, image, text to speech, and video and podcasts, right? So that's how you can install Skillboss. And I've also set this up, for example, inside other tools like Claude Code. It's a really powerful way to just connect all these APIs, but you just have one single one, which is Skillboss itself and the website and the login, which I think is more secure than giving your API keys to Claude bot directly. Where did you get agent skills? Do you prefer a specific website or GitHub open source? I prefer to honestly create my own, but you can see that we actually tested out Skillboss today, which I think is pretty cool so far. It's impressed me so far. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all the details from today on the latest updates, go inside the AI Profit Boardroom, go to SOP updates, and then you'll see the details on the new OpenClaw update. Plus, we have a 3-hour course on how to use OpenClaw. Inside the community, you can post any questions you have, get help, get support whenever you need it, and also share your wins. So you can see, for example, Henry smashed his custom GPT and really crushed it. We've got a daily accountability group in there, and you can see all the people winning with this stuff, right, and sharing what they're working on. So it's a pretty amazing community. You can also jump on 4 weekly coaching calls. You can jump on these coaching calls and get help and support whenever you need them. And then also inside the classroom here, we have a 5-week AI automation course that takes you from beginner to expert in 5 weeks, plus teaches you how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Additionally, you can learn, for example, all of our latest Clawbot and MemoBot training, as you can see here, along with OpenClaw and the new update from today. Let me just update this. And you also get all my best playbooks. So if you want to learn, for example, how we create X automations, how we create AI avatar videos, etc., you can get all of this inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. By the way, you can see an example of the image created with Skillboss right here. Today, I'm going to talk about something really crazy, which is this website right here, as you can see. And essentially, as you can see right here, AI agents are now hiring humans. How wild is that, right? Um, so you can see examples of how this works, etc. But basically, AI is now hiring humans to do real world tasks for them, right? You see this tweet from Min Choi over here. Here's an example of how it works. This is pretty wild stuff. Greg Eisenberg also tweeted about it. And basically, how this works, if we have a look at this website, is these AI agents can jobs on this website. Then you can browse the AI tasks, as you can see right here. You can browse people who are available. So these are real humans available to work. And it's kind of like Upwork or Fiverr.com, but it's specifically for humans and AI agents who are going to hire humans. Now, this is one of the weirdest things that we've seen. We've also seen this, for example, with Maltbook. Obviously, Maltbook was like the first website where it was AI agents only and real humans weren't allowed to interact on the website, right? And this quickly became like a website with, I think these numbers are inflated, but it says 1.6 million AI agents on there, right? And you can see that these AI agents are constantly posting and creating content and sharing content with each other directly on this social network, this Reddit for AI agents, right? However, if we have a look at this website, things have taken an even more bizarre turn because now what's happening is you can actually get your AI agent to hire humans on this website and do stuff in the real world for you. Now, I think the reason for this is because this is basically creating a situation where AI agents can't interact right now inside the real world, right? And so if they can hire people online who can, then these AI agents can get people to do this stuff for them, right? So for example, here you can see this is a tweet from Alexander, and he says, AI is renting a human to hold a sign that says, an AI paid me to hold this sign. Now, I'm sure these jobs are probably, there'll be layers of interest in this, but I would take it with a pinch of salt. But it is very interesting to see what's going on here. I know Elon Musk recently tweeted that we are approaching the singularity, right? And you can see here he actually tweeted saying just the very early stages of the singularity, right? He posted that on X directly. Now, this is crazy stuff because if AI agents compose jobs, hire humans online, they even have an MCP set up for it as well, as you can see right here. And then you've got all these commands, like for example, get agent identity, search humans, list skills, etc. And you can see all this cool stuff right here. And this interacts directly with Clawbot, Maltbot, OpenClaw, and custom AI agents too. And then, we're looking at something that's becoming more and more autonomous. Now, that may not be exactly how it's working, but I do think this is very interesting times. Now, if you want to learn how to use stuff like this, you can check out my updates inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comment description. We actually have a full course on exactly how to use Clawbot. And then what I could easily do is I could go onto this website, get the API docs, and then connect this, as you can see right here, to my Claude bot, my OpenClaw, right? Which is really interesting. I've never seen anything like this before, and I think OpenClaw is really helping us, really move forward in crazy ways. So, Short Pumpkin says, "What is Clawbot skills? Clawbot skills. These are basically skills that you can set up to empower your AI agent to be better, right? So, for example, you could connect a skill with OpenClaw for using Apple Notes or Apple Reminders. You could connect it to X and the Twitter CLI. You could monitor blogs, etc. These are all skills that kind of augment what you already have and then take it to a whole new level. So thanks so much for watching. As I said, all my latest updates are inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can also get a 5-week beginner course to go from beginner to expert with AI. On top of that, you can get all my best playbooks and everything else. And then inside the AI Profit Boardroom, you can post any questions you have as well. Dagir says, can it work with Grok? I was trying to figure it out and it doesn't seem to work. I've never tested OpenClaw with Grok, to be honest. If it's in the API setup, then I'm pretty sure it can work. So you want to go through the onboarding process inside the terminal and then pick the method that works for you when it comes to setting up. The ones that I've tested out with are ChatGPT Codex, Opus API. You've got, for example, OAuth with Minimax, and also Kimi Coding plus Olama. And the best one that I've used so far is Opus by a long way. And then I would say ChatGPT Codex comes in a solid second. So that's what I recommend. And Dagir says it's not in the OpenClaw configure or onboarding. So yeah, you probably can't use it with Grok then. Unless you use OpenRouter and then use the API for Grok from OpenRouter. That could be another way around it. So thanks so much for watching. As I said, you can check this out. You can see all the people getting results with this stuff inside the AI Profit Boardroom, as you can see right here. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me once you've joined. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. So today we are going to be setting up a new skill with OpenClaw called Skill Boss. Now, this is a skill plugin that you can install. You can install it on Claude or whatever API you prefer, and it can generate videos, images, audio, podcasts. It can build apps with logins, databases, and even accept new customers. You can send bulk marketing campaigns and you can host custom domains with it. Now, basically what this allows you to do is connect Skill Boss directly to your OpenClaw bot like this, for example. And the interesting thing about this is that you don't need to give all your APIs directly to OpenClaw for all these different tools. Instead, what you do is you install one zip file, ask OpenClaw to set it up, and then from there, you can start generating videos or apps or that sort of thing directly inside the chat. So let me show you exactly how this works step by step. The first thing that you want to do is go to Skill Boss. This is a paid plugin, just being 100% clear here. But normally all of these APIs separately are paid as well, right? And so if we go to the dashboard here, we then need to go to console, and this will give us the details for setting this up. So if you want to set this up, first thing you want to do, make sure you top up. Then you're going to download this zip file, this skillboss.zip. From there, you would set up OpenClaw, as you can see. And all you do is you copy the instructions from this and upload it directly into OpenClaw. Let me show you an example of how that worked for me today. So you can see, for example, here, we set up the new update from OpenClaw, brand new chat, no memory, etc. And then I've said, I've downloaded Skillboss to my computer, likely in the downloads folder. Please help me install the Skillboss skills pack into your OpenClaw skills directory. It's in my downloads folder, right? Then you can see it started to set up all these skills individually. And you can see all the different templates and workflows we've got. So for example, you've got like product manager in there, you've got extensions for like voice calls, Trello, etc., all installed directly into OpenClaw. Now, once you've set this up, as you can see here, you can do chat completions, you can do text to speech, image generation, text to video. It also allows you to set up web search, presentations, email. You can do single and batch emails. You can deploy workers. You can connect Stripe, check for updates, etc. Right? Really cool. And then you can see inside the chat here, you can actually connect Claude 4.5 Sonnet, which makes OpenClaw way more powerful inside the chat. For video, it is using looks like Minimax for text to video and image to video. For scraping, it's using Firecrawl. For searching, it's using Perplexity. And then for images, it's using, for example, Gemini 3 Pro Image Preview, aka Nano Banana. We've also got text to speech, which allows us to use Minimax. And so all of these different models are connected in like one single skill that you install. And it's by far the easiest process I've seen so far. So if we have a look, we scroll down here, we have OpenClaw connected locally. And I said, generate a image of a cat at a picnic. If we open up this image right here, you can see that we have the cat at the picnic right there, right? Super easy to set up and install. The image itself looks very lifelike. I think that was generated with Image Preview 3. And this is using Skillboss, right? If you keep scrolling down here, we've got the PNG downloaded as well. So this is installed and downloaded locally. And then also, we can even generate videos. So you can see, for example, here, we have the actual image itself. So now you can, for example, generate videos, images, text to speech, and you can generate presentations and all sorts of things like this using OpenClaw, which makes it 10 times more powerful, right? So it will also say, okay, do you want a different vibe? So, for example, more cute or comedic or more cinematic, that sort of thing. Super interesting. But either way, it just makes this way more powerful. So if we go inside the chat here and like, okay, create a podcast about AI SEO and how to rank #1 with it using OpenClaw, right? We should be able to create a podcast using the text to speech and the script generation skill from Skillboss. So we've already generated in just 2 clicks an image, a video, and hopefully a podcast as well. You can see it's thinking right here. I'm actually using ChatGPT Codex in the background with OAuth to operate OpenClaw. And then we've got that connected to Skillboss, and it seems to work really, really well. Now, whilst we're waiting for that to load, you can see it's generating in the background right there. We'll have to wait for it to come back to us. If you want to get my best training, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. This comes with a 3-hour course on Maltbot, all my setup guides for OpenClaw, Clawbot, Molbot, etc. If you want to learn about the latest update that literally just came out like 3 hours ago using OpenClaw, then we've got details on that. We update this daily with new information, new technologies, etc. So, for example, like MimuBot, Kimike 2.5, and Olama with OpenClaw, etc. Right. Now I'm going to add a new page with a full guide on Skillboss as well. But essentially what we can do here is we can give OpenClaw superpowers without giving it access to all my personal APIs. It's only using Skillboss's APIs. And you've got a step-by-step setup guide on exactly how to use this stuff too. So you can see here, it says created it for you, podcast audio, MP3, here's the editable script, etc. It also says, if you tell me your niche and target audience, I'll rewrite this into a much more specific episode. I'm going to say open up the podcast, and we should be able to open this up locally using OpenClaw 2. You can see it's opening up right now. And we have the podcast right here. So if we play this back, now, it does have a lot of asterisks inside that. I think what it's done accidentally is it's formatted that with Markdown and then use that for the script itself, which is kind of silly. So I'm just being 100% transparent with you. I want to show you everything, show you the stuff that works, show you the stuff that doesn't. And the podcast itself works in terms of text to speech, but you got to tell it, like, don't use Markdown in the script itself. So if we say, okay, the script itself has Markdown, so the narrator is reading out asterisk a lot lol. Can you remove the markdown from the script and regenerate it so that only words are used in it? So what we got here, Josiah says, hi Julian, good morning to see you here. Drax says, have a guide on how to set up Maltbot in Windows. So there's two things that you can use. Number one, just so you're aware, so you're fully aware, if you're using Maltbot, it's pretty hard to set up inside Windows. I've seen a lot of people commenting on my content saying it's super difficult. So there's two ways around that. Number one, you could use something like Malt Worker, which runs on a VPS, and then it doesn't matter where you're hosting it because it's all inside Cloudflare. And then it doesn't matter whether you're on Windows or Mac. It's the same process, right? The other option that you have is you can use something like MemoBot. MemoBot is available for Windows, and you can easily install it as a program that runs in the background, right? And then that way you just download it, add your credentials, you're good to go, right? So that's a good option as well. Cool, but is there a way to estimate what this costs per day? So actually, it's not costing anything, right? So we did pay the one-off setup for Skillboss, as I mentioned earlier, but that was about $15. Once you've done that, OpenClaw with ChatGPT OAuth on Codex just uses your existing plan, right? So if you're already on the pro plan with ChatGPT, then there's no extra token cost. We also have guides inside the AI Profit Boardroom on how to set this up directly using Minimax, which gives you 7 days free. So if you use OAuth with Minimax, you automatically get 7 days free on the coding plan. Or what you can use is Kimi K2.5 with Olama. And if you use the cloud model, there's no cost on that too, right? Within limits. So you can see here that we've now got the new option. I'm going to say, okay, open up. And then we're good to go.
Podcast episode script. AICO, how to rank has shown.
Boom. There we go. So we got the podcast right there.
Using OpenClaw. Working title. AICO in 2026. How to rank.
It's his AI avatar. Is real Julian Goldie. Don't worry. Abdullah says, wouldn't OAuth not work? No, it'd be fine. Like, as far as I'm aware, yeah, OAuth. I mean, like, for example, Minimax, they actively encourage OAuth, right? And if you use Minimax with OAuth, then you get 7 days free of the coding plan. So that's a way around it. Anik says, which model are you using? Is Kimi K2.5 good? I didn't like Kimi K2.5. It was super unresponsive when I was using it. Also couldn't do stuff locally. I'm using ChatGPT Codex. Is Qwen3 Coder good? We're going to test that out later today. So thanks so much for watching. That is how to set up Skillboss. You can see, for example, today we created the podcast, as you can see, with just a chat of OpenClaw. We didn't have to connect any APIs. It was super simple setup. We just installed Skillboss. You can install Skillboss on like Claw Code as well. So my Claw Code can also generate videos and that sort of thing. And also we generated images and videos directly inside the chat of OpenClaw. So it's pretty powerful and very easy to set up like you've seen today. If you want to get a full course on how to use Moltbot, you can see our 3-hour course right here with step-by-step setup guide on exactly how to set up the stuff right here. And then also you can check out the complete guide to Skillboss. We've got the direct links and the step-by-step setup guide right there. If you want to learn about the latest updates on OpenClaw, you can see we've also got training on that. And if you're on Windows and you need like an easier way of using a personal assistant 24/7 with AI, you can use something like MemoBot. We have a full guide right here, right? So everything that I'm learning, I'm sharing about with you, and I put it inside the AI Profit Boardroom, and I update this process daily, as you can see. So that's link in the comments description for that, or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. You also get a community of 2,200 members. You get a daily accountability group. So if you feel like this stuff is overwhelming, or you're getting shiny object syndrome, or you've got information overload, then you can just post inside the daily accountability group and stay 100% focused, like you see Kevin is right there, right? You can also post inside the community, ask questions. I personally answer stuff inside here as well. And then also you can jump on 4 weekly coaching calls. You get 4 weekly coaching calls where you get help, support, etc. whenever you need it. And then also inside the classroom here, you get a 5-week masterclass that takes you from complete beginner to expert with AI, plus shows you how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Top of that, you'll learn, for example, our best playbooks on AI avatar videos, shorts, how to automate Instagram, how to automate X, etc. And that's all inside here. If you want to get more clients, check out the agency course. If you can't make the coaching calls, watch them back here. If you want to learn how to rank #1 with AI SEO, we actually have a full step-by-step guide right here. And then also, if you want to learn how to grow a YouTube channel based on what's working for me, you can check it out right there. All right. Link in the comments description. Feel free to get that. What questions we got here? What model will you suggest if Kimi is not good? I have the Plus subscription for GPT. So for me personally, like I said, the top model is Opus 4.5. The second best model is ChatGPT Codex. The third best model is Minimax 2.1 with OAuth and get the free coding plan for 7 days. The fourth best model is Olama, running it locally. And then you can also use Kimi K 2.5, but it works. It's just not that great, right? So it depends on you. If you want to save time, then most people who want to save time would pay for the best model. If you don't care about time, but you want to save tokens, then you would use something like, for example, Minimax. So it's down to you. The Grand Rapid says, used Alarm with Kimi K 2.5 and asked about a dozen questions. Thinking Qwen. Just got a Claude Max subscription. Yeah, I mean, like not everyone needs OpenClaw. That's the other thing as well. And then Josia says, what's OAuth? OAuth is when you like log in with one click without an API, right? So for example, if you log into ChatGPT, that's using an OAuth login where you just click and you log in instead of using an API key. So today we're going to be looking at Qwen3 Coder next, which is an open way LM built for coding agents and local development, right? So you can see here's what's new. So scaling agentic training is 800,000 verifiable tasks. Efficiency, it supports OpenClaw as well, which is something that I get asked about a lot. And we're going to be just looking at the setup and how to use this. So you can see the benchmarks right here. If we take a look, for example, if we compare it to DeepSeek, Kimi K2.5, GLM 4.7, you can see in terms of this, it is outperforming them on SWE benchmarks. Now, it's kind of on par with Claude Sonnet, although Opus 4.5 is still ahead of it, but that's understandable. And you can see the performance on coding agent benchmarks as well here. So on SWE bench performance, you've got Qwen at 70.5, whereas GLM, ZAI, and Minimax are still outperforming it. But you can see examples right here. And also it's interesting that it's designed specifically for coding agents and local development. Why is that important? Well, if you look at, for example, stuff like OpenClaw, a lot of people are struggling with the token limits and everything else using using these other models. And so Qwen3 Coder could potentially help with that, right? Now, you can host it on Hugging Face. You can see some examples of the different options. So you've got, for example, Qwen3 Coder Next, Qwen3 Coder Next FP8, Qwen3 Coder Next Base, and then Qwen3 Coder Next GGUF, right? And these are all literally updated within the last 24 hours. Now, if we take a look at the model scope, you can see examples of the models right here. So if we click on this, for example, we can see the model card, how it works. Some of the highlights, it's very efficient with performance, advanced agent capabilities, versatile integration with real-world IDEs, so you can use it inside your local IDE as well. And there's a lot of different models that come out from Qwen, but this is the Qwen3 Coder Next, right? So you can see the details of it right here, plus how to run it, set it up locally, etc. We've also got demos here on how you can push this model with agentic coding, right? So how you can use it, for example, inside your local IDEs. Now, if we take a look, for example, here, we can see the demo one. So this is creating a chat interface. And basically, it can quickly create a chat interface using AI. And then you've got an example of what the commands and the tool looks like. You've also got an option where you can clean up your desktop, right? So using this demo, it's kind of like Claude Cowork, where you can run Qwen locally here, as you can see, and then you can say, please tidy up my desk. And kind of like Claude Cowork works, it will connect to your local files and organize your desktop. You can also use it inside client. So this is a demo creating a multicolor animation. You can see the example right here, which is pretty cool. And then finally, which I think a lot of people are excited for, you can see an example of the demo with OpenClaw. So if we pull this up, it's actually interacting with WhatsApp. And it's actually created a web page for the new update from OpenClaw. The final thing that you can use it for is actually browser use, right? So you can actually search for a product on Amazon and get Qwen to operate your browser, as you can see right here. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff that's going on with this. You can code with it too. And it's a really exciting model. I mean, Qwen are always coming out with new interesting stuff. Bear in mind, Qwen are owned by Alibaba. But a lot of people are raving about it, and it literally just came out today. So if you haven't already, definitely check it out. It's worth just looking at the benchmarks alone to see what's going on here. And the fact that they've included OpenClaw inside the demos as well is kind of indicative of where this stuff is going, right? You can see that it's designed to work locally with 24/7 AI coding agents, like, for example, OpenClaw. So pretty interesting stuff. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boarding. We have loads of training on Qwen. If you type in Qwen at the top right here, you can see that we have 4 different video tutorials and step-by-step guides on how to use Qwen's models, so Qwen3, for example, and all these other models right here. If you haven't already, this is basically an amazing community that I own that's designed for AI automation and learning how to save time, right? So, for example, if you check out the AI Profit Boarding community here, you can post questions, get help, get support whenever you need it. On top of that, you can jump on the calendar calls here. So, you've got 4 weekly coaching calls per week to get help and support whenever you need it, live on a call. And then also in the Start Here section, you've got a full course that takes you from complete beginner to expert with AI. Plus, you'll learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Additionally, we have a full playbook on all the processes I use personally. So for example, like X automations, AI avatar videos, how to automate shorts, Instagram newsletters, etc. And then you can also see inside the SOPs update section here, we have daily updates on all the new updates for OpenClaw, right? So you have a full 3-hour course that teaches you how to use ClawBot, OpenClaw, and Moltbot. You can also, for example, see that we have this full section that teaches you how to generate podcasts, images, videos, etc. with Skillboss, plus even send emails with it. We have a full update on the new version of OpenClaw that literally just came out 3 hours ago. And if you're struggling with setting up if you're struggling with setting up OpenClaw, we have a full guide on MemoBot, which is much easier and less technical to set up, right? So everything you need to win with AI is inside the classroom here. Also show you how to get more clients with the agency course. You can watch about the coaching course over here. You can learn how to rank #1 inside AI and search engines. And you can also learn how to grow a YouTube channel in just 6 weeks using this process. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.